Uh, we will start with engine performance parameters. So there are different parameters for engine performance. The engine performance is indicated by the term efficiency. Five important engine efficiencies and other literary engine performance parameters. The first is indicator thermal efficiency. So indicator thermal efficiency is denoted by this symbol. Indicator thermal efficiency is the ratio of energy in the indicated power to the input fuel energy in appropriate units. So it is a ratio. So here we have indicated power, here we have energy in fuel per second. So what it basically means, if you take the example of an engine, fuel will enter into engine. This is the fuel, this is the engine. Fuel and air will enter into the engine. After combustion, we will get some work output. Okay, and the rest you have exhaust, because some part of that fuel after burning there is some exhaust, so heat energy will be lost in the form of exhaust, and there is this cooling also. So some amount of heat will from engine will be lost in the form of cooling, in the form of heat. So we can see in this figure 1.3 energy flow through reciprocating engine. We will explain this first. So here what we have, this is thermodynamic analysis of engine cycle. You can see here this is internal combustion engine. So indicated energy or network indicated power. This is you can see here indicated energy or network indicated power. What is this indicated energy? Then you have we will discuss it. Then you have useful energy, that is your brake power, that is you can see here 1 minus 2 minus 3. So indicated power is 1 minus 2, you can see here indicated power is 1 minus 2. So if you decrease this energy loss from total energy, so one what does it mean by one is total energy of the fuel. So we will give fuel into the engine. Okay, the fuel has this energy, suppose 1. Okay, here 1. So if you take if you deduct this energy loss, that is 2. Exhaust energy loss in the form of exhaust, heat carried by the coolant, because some part of heat from the engine, okay, from engine, some part of heat of fuel from the engine will be taken by coolant, and some loss will be by in the form of radiation. So whatever indicated energy, whatever power left after this deduction, whatever power left after this deduction is your indicated energy. Okay, so now what is indicated power? Indicated power, note down this term, that is indicated power as discussed here, this indicated power. Okay, so what is this indicated power? Indicated power we will discuss here. The power we will at the piston surface. Okay, this is your indicated power. This is your piston. The power, because after combustion what we have high pressure, high temperature products, high pressure, high temperature gases. So they will push this piston down. They will push this piston down. So whatever power is available at the piston surface, whatever power available at the piston surface is your indicated power. Okay. So but piston will move downward. Okay, it will transfer its power. It's, you can say, piston is moving with some velocity at some speed. So whatever power piston have, it will transfer it to the crankshaft. Okay, so piston will transfer the power to the crankshaft. So there are some losses in between. So this is your connecting rod, bearing also. There are some friction losses between piston and the cylinder wall. This is your cylinder wall, this is your piston. So there are some losses between piston and the cylinder wall. So after losses, whatever power is available at this here, this at this portion, crankshaft output. So whatever power is available at the crankshaft output is called brake power. Okay, this is called brake power. Okay, so there are two terms. First is indicated power, second is brake power. Okay, indicated power is available at the piston, brake power is available at the crankshaft. okay, that is output, okay. And brake power, indicator power, what is, you can say these are some losses which occur in indicator power. If indicator power or indicator energy have these losses, and you will get then brake power in the form of friction pumping unaccounted these losses, and you have the brake power. So come back to the this thermal efficiency indicated thermal. This is indicated power of divided by energy in fuel per second. So this is total energy of the fuel, and this is your indicated power. The units are same. Indicated power units is kilojoule per second, energy in fuel per second, it's also units is kilojoule per second, they are cancel out. So this is a dimensionless term. Efficiency is a dimensionless term. So indicated thermal efficiency. So next is the same way as you have indicated thermal efficiency, the same way we have the next term, that is brake thermal efficiency. You can also see here these three terms that we'll discuss, okay, again. So brake thermal efficiency is the ratio of energy in the brake power to the input fuel energy in appropriate units. So whatever brake power you have divided by, okay, again, energy of fuel same, mass of fuel into calorific value of fuel, the units are same. Its calorific value is kilojoule per kg, and mass of fuel is kg per second. So when you solve this, you will get the same unit as you had here, the same energy in the fuel. Only instead of indicated power, you have to write here brake power. So this is efficiency, brake thermal efficiency. This is brake thermal efficiency, brake power upon mass of fuel into calorific value of fuel, okay. So these are two terms. Third one is your mechanical efficiency. Now you can see what is mechanical efficiency. If even if you take the example of any example, even in power plant, even what is will the mechanical efficiency. Mechanical efficiency is a ratio of brake power to indicated power. If you divide brake power by indicated power, that is your mechanical efficiency. Means some amount of power will be lost. Indicated power is a maximum power will at the piston, but during shaft output there are some losses. So we will get only brake power at the shaft. So there are some losses, and that loss is written over here. You can see here indicated power is further divided into two parts: brake power plus friction power. This friction power is a loss which occurs during transmission of the power from piston to the crankshaft. There this loss, friction loss, that is friction power. So friction power from here, if you equate these two equations, if you equate this equation and these two terms, so indicated power brake minus brake power is equal to friction power. So this is your friction power. So you now up to here we have three terms, that is your indicated power, and then you have brake power, and then you have friction power. These are three terms, okay. Here in this diagram, figure 1.15, energy distribution, you can see here clearly that energy of in fuel is in kilowatt, okay, because we take mass of fuel per second, because in the engine it's we use term like mass flow rate of fuel. We don't use mass, only mass, we use mass flow rate of to the engine. Because when you just calculate these parameters in a practical lab, in a laboratory, so what we have to do, we have to consider the mass flow rate into the engine, okay. So this is energy in fuel, kilowatt, that is why it is in kilowatt. Kilowatt means that we are considering the amount of fuel mass flow rate, okay. So mass of fuel per second, okay, this is mass flow rate into calorific value. So this is the energy in the fuel, okay. And but when the gases will burn, okay, there are some losses. What kind of those losses are, you can see here, these here are the losses. Energy loss in exhaust, okay. So after combustion you can see that there is exhaust gases, okay. So exhaust gases has very high temperature, so it means some amount of energy has been lost, okay. And coolant, you can see that there is a radiator in the engine or air cooled engine. So whatever it is, whether it's air cooled or whether it's water cooled, there is some loss in the form of energy by the coolant, okay, because we have to keep the engine temperature in certain limits, otherwise engine components will fail, okay. And then radiation, etc., radiation losses are also there, okay. So this energy is lost. Now whatever we are left is indicated power. You can see here, this is indicated power, that is, you can say, total power available at the piston surface, that is indicated power. You can see here it's units in kilowatt, okay. Piston having some, you can say, piston will move with some velocity to with some distance, and you can say this is your indicated power here, okay. And but when your piston will move, there are further some losses, that is energy losses in friction, pumping, etc. So you can say if you include all those losses, okay, so that means like pumping losses means cooling water pump needs to run, and valves need to open, okay. There are bearing frictions also. So whatever power we get, that is called brake power here. So this is the net output which we will get from the engine. So this is energy distribution, okay. And you can see here again, efficiency indicated thermal is indicated power of energy, efficiency brake thermal is brake power of energy, and efficiency mechanical is equal to brake power upon indicated power. So we have these three terms. Next we will discuss with volumetric efficiency. This is very important term, one of important parameter which decide the performance of four stroke engines. Four stroke engines have distinct suction stroke, okay. As you can know from here, during suction stroke, or air fuel mixture will come into the engine, okay. So volumetric efficiency indicates the breathing ability of the engine. It is to be noted that the utilization of the air is that determines the power output of the engine. Okay, intake system must be designed in such a way that the engine must be able to take in as much air as possible. Okay, so volumetric efficiency is defined as the ratio of actual volume flow rate of air into intake system to the rate at which volume is displaced by the system, okay. So again it is volumetric efficiency is ratio of actual mass flow rate of air, or actual volume flow rate of air, this is your volume flow rate of air, divided by theoretical volume flow rate, this is your theoretical volume flow rate, okay. So V displacement is the displacement of the piston, N is the RPM divided by 2, okay. So because why it is by 2, because in you can say one revolution, okay, in one revolution, in two revolution there is only one suction stroke, so that is why it is n by 2, because there is out of four strokes in if you take the example of four stroke engine, there are total four strokes, out of four strokes only one is your suction stroke, okay. So and if it is a four stroke engine, it means in the two revolutions of the crankshaft there is only one suction stroke. So this is your theoretical volumetric volume intake, and this is actual volume intake, because the valve will open, intake manifold have some friction, so ideally we will get little bit less amount of air as compared to what we will get in idle case, okay. So an alternative equivalent definition for volumetric efficiency is written over here. The same way, it is the same thing. It is to be noted that irrespective of the engine, whether SI spark ignition or CI or gas engine, volumetric rate of airflow is what to be taken into account and not the mixture flow rate. This point is to be noted that we have to take only volume flow rate, we need not to take the mixture flow rate, we have to take only air flow rate, because when we will take SI engine, air and fuel mixture will come, we have to remove the fuel, we have to measure the volumetric efficiency, so we have to consider only volumetric flow rate of air, okay. If rho is taken as atmospheric air density, then efficiency volumetric is the pumping performance of entire inlet system if it is taken as the air density in the inlet manifold, then efficiency volumetric is pumping performance of inlet port and valve only. Okay. The normal range of volumetric efficiency at full throttle for SI engine is between 80 to 85%. As in CI engine, it is between 85 to 90%. So it means SI engines have less volumetric efficiency, because in case of SI engine, along with the air, fuel will come. So some amount of volume is covered by the fuel. So that why SI engine volumetric efficiency is less than compression ignition engine. Gas engines have much lower volumetric efficiency since gaseous fuel displace air, and therefore breathing capacity of engine is reduced. So why this parameter is important? Because more the amount of air will come, the more we can add fuel and more power we will get from the same volume, because cylinder volume is fixed. Okay, so more the air will come, more the fuel, and better will the burning, and we will get much better power output. So it is very important. Lesser the volumetric efficiency, the power output will decrease. So it will directly lead to the performance of the internal combustion engine. So next is your latent efficiency or efficiency ratio. Relative, as it is term says, it is relative. Okay, so relative efficiency or efficiency ratio is the ratio of thermal efficiency of an actual cycle to that of ideal cycle. Okay, actual thermal efficiency divided by air standard efficiency. So what is air standard efficiency, that we'll discuss in detail in coming lectures. So air standard efficiency, in this cycle we include that the cycle is working only air. We assume that there is no fuel, only working fluid is air. But actual thermal efficiency, in with this cycle we will include the fuel also. Okay, so the ratio of these two is the efficiency relative. Up to this, next portion is the mean effective pressure. We will discuss these things in detail in the next class. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. For the more videos, you can also suggest, give your suggestions. Okay, and also subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe my channel.